Have you ever thought of a world where the school system fixes you up with a life partner based on your scores? Yes, you heard it right, a degree and a wife. Is this system really beneficial? Well, Neji is about to live this situation as well. As the show begins, we see that when the boys and girls of this country turn 16, they receive notification of who their future spouse will be. Those who do not marry their assigned partner face severe penalties and romance with anyone but their chosen partner is forbidden. Because of this policy, the birth rate has stabilized, and the children of such matches have a higher average intelligence. The story begins with our main character named Neji staring at a girl in class. Her name is Misaki, and we learn that Neji has been secretly in love with her for 5 years. A few moments later, a classmate of Neji's reveals that he just got his notice yesterday. However, he says that he wants to fall in love and that he would never marry someone chosen by the government. Neji agrees, and they all make a pact to never get married. When Neji arrives home, he declares that he only wants to be in love with Misaki and begins to have flashbacks of when they were younger. During dinner, Neji's mother reminds him that his birthday is in a few days and is excited for him to get his notification. However, Neji dreads the day because he doesn't want to fall in love with anyone else. But he decides that he has to tell her how he feels before he gets his partner notification. So the next day at school, he approaches her, but the words he wants to say don't come out as she walks away. He plucks up the courage to ask her to meet him after school. While Neji waits, he gets the feeling that Misaki won't show up, but just as he's about to leave, she runs up behind him and grabs his shirt. She apologizes for being late, and they sit on a bench together, where Neji finally confesses his feelings for her. Misaki begins to cry and reveals that she has liked him all along, which comes as a big surprise to Neji. Nevertheless, he is overjoyed and they share a kiss. A few moments later, the clock strikes 12 and Neji receives his notification from the government that his marriage partner has been chosen. Misaki is upset and runs away, but Neji chases after her and refuses to let her go, as she is the love of his life. The next day, Neji meets his assigned partner, a girl named Sanada. Neji gets nervous because he finds her very attractive and the two families get to know each other. But while everyone is talking, Neji is in a world of his own, thinking about Misaki. Sanada angrily mocks him for having no manners and leaves when Neji pays no attention to her. Moments later, Neji finds her alone in a room and apologizes for being so rude. She accepts his apology and they talk for a while. Neji tells Sanada all about Misaki, and she surprisingly offers to help him sort things out with her. They agree to go back holding hands to fool their parents into thinking they're together. The next day at school, Neji's classmates tell him how lucky he is to have such a cute partner, which reminds him that he agreed to meet her soon. He finds Sanada in the nurse's office, where she reveals that she doesn't fit in with the other girls and is faking illness to miss class. Neji admits that he's always had a hard time talking to girls, but says it's easy with you, making her blush. After school, Sanada introduces herself to Misaki. They go to a fast food restaurant where Sanada reveals that she doesn't like Neji and asks Misaki how she feels about him. Misaki confesses her feelings for Neji, prompting Sanada to say that it must be wonderful to fall in love with someone. After they leave, Misaki asks Sanada if she would like to meet him again, which makes her cry because she never had any friends before. A few moments later, Neji lets it slip that he kissed Misaki, but explains that it was before he received his notice. To his surprise, Sanada tells him to kiss Misaki again. The next day, Neji goes to Sanada's house and is surprised to see Misaki in her room. Sanada gives her blessing for them to kiss, but just before their lips meet, Neji pulls back because he can't bring himself to do it. Before Misaki leaves, she tells Sanada that she wants her to fall in love with Neji because she's probably not the right girl for him, which comes as a shock to Sanada since Misaki is in love with him. Sanada goes back to her room and tells Neji that he has to kiss Misaki once a day, which leaves him stunned. At school, Neji wonders if something is going on with Misaki and his classmate Misaka after he notices them looking at each other strangely. Later, Neji finds Misaki to ask her about Misaka, but a teacher comes and Neji pulls her out of the way so they can be close. Neji thinks about the consequences of being intimate with someone other than his designated partner, but finds it hard to hide his true feelings and they end up kissing. The next day, two people who work for the government come to check on Neji and Sanada's relationship. The woman explains that up to 50% of your personality is determined by your genes, and that all the surveys and tests you go through determine who your assigned partner will be. So the trick is to choose a mate at the age of 16, before their personality is fully developed. After interviewing Neji and Sanada, they inform them that they're going to Misaki's house next. Neji is afraid that she has received her marriage notice, but Sanada tells him not to give up yet. At school, Neji asks Misaki if she has her assigned partner yet. She says yes, and that they're living together. But it turns out that she's joking with him, explaining that the government people only had business with her parents, which Neji is relieved to hear. Misaki then tells Neji that he is the only person who will ever be special to her, and that the rest will all be the same, no matter who they are, and they share a heartwarming kiss. As Meiji gets ready for bed, he receives a call from Sanada. She tells him that they're going on a camping trip and that Misaki is also going, so Meiji invites Nizaka to come along since he doesn't know how to handle both girls alone. The day arrives and they all take the train together. When they arrive at the lodge, Misaka starts to prepare dinner. Meanwhile, Neji goes to check on the girls who are having fun at the lake in their bathing suits. Moments later, Sanada slips on a rock and injures herself, so Neji kindly carries her back to the lodge where her father treats her injury. Later, Nizaka tells Sanada that Neji is heading for disaster if she continues to let him get closer to Misaki because of the repercussions from the government. A few days go by and the government calls the new couples to come to a making love class. They want to teach them how it all works. They give everyone rubbers and show a demonstration of making love. The teacher goes on to say that before language was mastered, making love was the most primitive means of communication. She then goes on to say that everyone is supposed to make love and the couples who don't will be punished. This makes Neji thinks that it will be tough, and just then a teacher passing by says that they will be watching him, so he must do it or else they will be penalized. When the time comes, Meiji comes up with a plan to pretend to do it, which ends up being extremely awkward and weird. After, Sanada tells Neji that she's scared to have him touch her and wants him to keep his distance for a while, as she isn't feeling like herself. On the other hand, Misaki admits to herself that she hates seeing Neji with Sanada, but doesn't want to say anything as she's afraid that they might realize they're in love. The next day, it is announced there's going to be a school play. They will be doing Romeo and Juliet, with Nisaka and Misaki playing the main roles. Nisaka and Neji walk up after school where Neji says stuff, which makes him feel insecure. Nisaka brushes him off and runs away, and just then, Nisaka's father pops up and takes to have lunch asking what their issues were. Later, they feel better and head home. The next day at school, everyone get their measurements done and prepare for the festival and play. Later on, Neji offers to help Misaki with her lines, and as they walk together, she asks Neji if he is in love with Sanada. He says no and tells her that he is in love with her and no one else. Misaki has a moment and tells Meiji that she's thinking about ending it all, to which Neji replies why, and she goes on to say because I'm not your assigned partner, explaining that she's falling more and more in love with him every day even though she knows there's no hope for them. The day of the festival arrives and we see Misaka is all dressed up and is ready to go. Neji sees some old friends and runs away, but he collides with the teacher again who tells him that he other jobs as well to monitor students. Neji asks him about his concern, but he waves on saying that Sanada is his wife and no one else. Later, Sanada happens to reach the school as well and wants to watch the play. Later, they get ready and Nisaka gets ready as Juliet. The play ends, and shortly after, Neji is approached by a mysterious girl who all in all reveals to him that Misaki is his true destined partner. Neji then notices Sanada standing close by with a shocked look on her face as she happened to hear everything. She asks him if their pairing was a mistake, to which Neji says no as he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. A while later, they find Misaki and tell her how good she was in the play. Later, Nisaka comes along and informs Meiji that he needs him to fill his cousin's place for a wedding invite, so Neji agrees to go along with him, and when the day comes, Sanada and Misaki join them too. After the ceremony, Neji finds Misaki crying alone. She pours her heart out saying I don't care, it's a lie. Tell me you love me, making Neji lose control and kiss her. Sanada catches a glimpse of this and feels awkward at watching what had happened, but accepts this. Neji himself feels as if he betrayed her. Later on, both the families visit a hot spring and everyone enjoy a good bath. Neji and Senate talk while they enjoy the spring and later go on to rest. Sanada musters up the courage to tell him her true feelings. Sanada tells Neji that he should choose to marry Misaki and explains that their love changed her life drastically for the better, as now she has more friends. She also informs Neji that she found a way to get out of a match peacefully. All they would have to do is lie to their ministry person and tell them that they aren't getting along and a match between them would never work. The next day, Neji tells Misaka that he doesn't know what to do as he loves both Misaki and Sanada. Nisaka tells him that if they really love him, he can make them both happy, and so he sprints off to find the girls. Meanwhile, Misaki and Sanada are getting ready for a bridal shoot while they're taking pictures. Neji bursts through the doors and confesses his love for them both, and there they decide love and lie for each other in order to keep everyone happy. Well, that ended in a quick way. 2 birds, 1 stone. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more.